Welcome to In Full Color 2020.
Welcome to In Full Color 2020.
Welcome to In Full Color 2020.
In a divided world, we are all struggling for a means of connection.
Today, you will, for one moment, be one with a mother.
Be one with someone rising from the ashes of abuse.
Be one with someone perhaps much like yourself.
Or not like you at all.
These beats of metal, electricity, and code in front of you today is not a screen or a machine,
but a portal in someone else's world.
A world we share together.
Find captions on screen or text transcripts in the chat.
There will be a Q&A and talk back after the show.
Submit your questions using the Q&A feature at any time.
Titles, authors, and trigger warnings will be displayed before each piece. Sit back,
relax,
enjoy the show.
Okay, listen. If you ever really looked deep into her soul, you would see reflections of palm trees in her eyes. If you stopped and really listened, you would hear the ocean waves in her voice. If you ever really kissed her, you would taste the ripe, sweet mangoes on her tongue. If you ever really held her body close to yours, you would feel like a hammock swaddling her body as it glides side to side. If you ever really made love to her, you would feel the vibrations of drums trembling in rhythm with her body, and you would feel her breath on your neck like a soft tropical breeze. If you ever really became one with her, you would climb her limbs like the limbs of a coconut tree. And if you ever really tasted her well, you will have experienced her sweet agua de coco. If you ever really sucked on her breast, you will have devoured her nipples like sweet quenepas, and she'd tell you, careful. And you would whisper in her ear, I know how to suck on quenepas. If you ever really traveled her body with your tongue, you would know that her sweet spot is her collarbone. Yes, her collarbone. It is where she carries so much of her strength, yet one gentle kiss would have her weak at the knees, and you will have discovered the instrument of her soul. Shh, listen. If you ever really listened, you would hear the sound of la guitarra playing. Listen closer. Do you hear her singing in your ear? Yes, her moans have melody. The question here is, did you ever really know her?
A week after I give birth, my doula comes to my house. She comes with baskets of herbs, glass jars, and a heavy orange pot. She comes to make bone broths and teas and baths in the style of her Mexican ancestors. Every time my doula comes, it's different. And every time my doula comes, I wonder how I ever gave birth before. She uses 15 herbs in the slap bath. She bundles the herbs together. I climb into the tub naked, looking at the tea-colored water covering my ankles. I sit. She takes the bundle. I close my eyes, lean back, and adjust my mask. She holds my hand and slaps it with herbs, all up and down my body. I have 6 weeks of la cuarentena. The first week, she says,
this week is for letting go.
Letting go of giving birth during a pandemic. Letting go of giving birth during an uprising. Letting go of giving birth in a hospital. She looks at the tea-colored bruises on my arm, and I tell her, this is where they put the IV in on the 5th try. The second week, she says,
This week is for receiving. What do you want to receive from your pregnancy and birth?
she shakes the yerba bundle over me, and it feels like rain. Another doula next to her scrubs my head with mugwort, breaking its perfume over my scalp. The third week, she says,
This week is for discernment. What does your womb want this week?
I tell her, comfort, luxury. She says,
And how can you
And
do
how
that?
can you do that?
I tell her, I don't know. She presses the 15 yerbas all over me, as if she were caring for an altar. And then I tell her, by slowing down. As the doulas leave the room, they whisper,
Luxury.
Luxury.
The fourth week, she doesn't say anything at all. The doulas gently splash water, scrubbing my arms and neck. I can hear the leaves in my ears, and I become the part where the forest meets the field. They sing me an ancient song, and even though I don't understand the words, I feel like I'm flying. The fifth week, I have a pinched nerve. It's from chasing my two other kids around when my body felt good. My doulas massage my lower back. They tell me, do less. We know it's hard, but do less so that you can give yourself more. The sixth week, my last week, the last bone broth of la cuarentena, the last tease of la cuarentena, the last slap bath of la cuarentena. I lie on a blanket on the ground, and she massages and moves my womb into place. A sabata, gently and firmly moving me into postpartum life. I am sore. I am so sore. I can tell I'll sleep extra in the days ahead. She tells me, this time is to integrate so that you can create more. And though I don't quite understand what she means, I have faith that I will in the days and weeks ahead. They wrap my head, they close my eyes, they leave something in my hands. And as I fall into a dream, they whisper, thank you for allowing us to help you. Thank you for letting us be a part of your journey. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How did you start
How
pole
did
dancing?
you start pole
How
dancing?
did you start pole dancing?
Well, there's the reason that I give everyone, like people I've just met or my pole dancing students when they ask, and there's the real reason. The less personal reason is, before I taught pole, I used to be an elementary school teacher. In 2011, I had my first job teaching a kindergarten first grade combo class, and you can imagine with that age group, I had to present a more kid-friendly version of myself all the time, and honestly, sometimes I felt like a sexless Muppet. I needed an outlet. I wanted to be a woman. I wanted to curse and listen to songs with explicit lyrics and like dance around and touch myself. You know what I mean? I'd always wanted to try it, so I did. I got a Groupon. This reason isn't untrue, but the real reason is that in college, I was sexually assaulted. For a long time, I kept that truth from even myself. I had a lot of shame around what happened, and society has a way of telling us that assault is our responsibility. If we do get assaulted, we only have ourselves to blame. For years, I thought of myself as someone who had been dumb and irresponsible and paid for it. And after the assault, I had a hard time being comfortable in my sexuality. Not my orientation, but being safely myself, especially the sexual side. Pole dancing was a safe place to express it without the unsafe feeling of having other people and the potential for abuse involved. Don't get me wrong, I went to therapy and figured out a lot of stuff there, but pole dancing helped. It still does. Healing is an ongoing conversation with myself and my body. And pole has made me really, really strong. Like, hold myself upside down just using my arms strong. Pick up heavy things and defend myself strong. Do things I never imagined I could do strong. It helped me realize how powerful I am. Because I am powerful, you know?
Descanse en paz.
Rest in peace.
Descanse en
Descanse
paz.
en paz.
Una guerrera cabrona, fuerte, luchadora. You know what that word means? Guerrera. A warrior. A fighter in everything she did. That's the woman I met and grew to love, and that's how I'll remember her. I don't like the suit they put on her. Did your mom really have that in her closet? It's just not her. Your mom was crazy, and awesome crazy, and that suit just doesn't match who she was. She was lively, laughed a lot, always had that red lipstick on and hair done. I got her nails right. Your mom was an amazing woman. Just look at all these people that came to say goodbye. The last time I saw her was in a hospital bed. She told me she broke her hip because she was old. She was only 48. I think that's like the new 30s or whatever. She wasn't old. The truth was her body was deteriorating. I didn't know. I couldn't touch, hug, or kiss her. I figured it was hospital protocol, so I didn't question it. Come to find out, she was going through chemo. She hid the pain so well. I mean, she greeted me with a smile and this indescribable energy. I should have just hugged her. No one knew she was sick. I think she fought this battle in secret and on her own because it was hers. And she believed she was going to get better. Always positive. I'm getting stronger every day. That was her last message to me. And now she's gone. How she was able to do that for so long is beyond me. I mean, it takes a special type of superhero woman to do that because from what I hear, cancer is no joke. She had us fooled. She had me fooled. And I never kept in touch. not as often as I should have. I never for the life of me remembered her birthday on time. It was always a month or two that I would call her to wish her a happy birthday. I was terrible. She never corrected me though. She always remembered mine. You know, if I would have known that this was the last time that I would see her alive, if I would have known. What was I going to do? Call her more to make sure she knew how much I loved her? Why did I have to know that she was dying for me to tell her these things? We take the people we love for granted. We do it every day, and yet we forget that we don't get to live forever. Maybe that's the reason she didn't tell anyone she was sick. For what? To feel sorry for her? Make uncomfortable conversations? Oh, I heard you're dying. How's that going? She didn't need to be reminded. Not once did I see her broken. I admire her for that. Can you imagine the amount of energy it took and the willingness she had to keep living? It must have been exhausting and lonely. A selfless sacrifice, really, but she did it. She did it. And you can do it too. You remind me so much of your mom. You look just like her. I know your battle with lupus has had its ups and downs. And I know that she was your strength, your rock, everything. And it's going to be hard to go on without her, but remember this. You are the daughter of a badass warrior. Her blood runs in your veins. So you fight like your mom did. You fight and you live your life.
There is an African-American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog.
We the people, ministers of mighty energies, mothers and mom dukes, misters, majestic men of melanin, women of wisdom, teachers, Buddha chanter believers, dudes, dames, lovers of likes, clicks, and fame. We are janitors, facilitators, rhythm beat builders, architects, cashiers, barbers, stylists, coordinators, web designers. We would be those freedom fighters, Cash App consultants, and experts on zombie-loving mutants. We are titans, bricklayers, hustlers, autobiography makers. We are writers and we are riders, but we're tired of dying. Our sacrificial brothers have been feeding the concrete. Death by blue hands has filled generation gaps with struggles and our dead bodies. We are recycling wizardry, Kung Fu Tai Chi Black Master. We cannot rewrite our history. They have chased our peace from Africa to occupy space in this aftermath of homicide and genocide and suicide called America. We are masters of weaving in and out a systemic racial injustice. And we are paralegals, paraprofessionals, lieutenants, captains, corporals, convicts. Yo, son, they did not do it. Shout out to the Freedom Project. We'd like to thank you for your hard work and dedication, understanding and believing that freedom is not a concept. We are prisoners of war. We are prisoners of war, and our casualties are still counting. The CIA turned a blind eye when the cocaine was abundantly supplied, and millions of us died. And millions of us died. So now they call you crackhead, tweaker, junkie, dope fiend. But it was an epidemic when the Karens started ODing on the heroin. It was an epidemic when the Karens started ODing on the heroin. Housekeeper, housing activists, butlers, maids, lawyers, lenders, bankers, those butcher flame haters ignited our churches and our homes. And then boundaries were orchestrated. So I guess cities without borders bleed red lines on Black faces. Urban farmers, urban developers, street sweepers, street walkers, street salesmen, bean pie, come get that bean pie. Final call for alcohol. Yo, frying pan handling man, can you spare me $1 for some blame? As they over there power washing our agents, power washing our protests with tear gas to dissolve our agents of change. Socialism, activism, power to the people, poison in the system, disregarded when judiciary policies were written, disregarded when corporate policies were written. Educator, artists, life coaches, fathers, senators, judges, politicians, brothers, disregarded in education. Companies, their structures resemble slave operations. See, there are a lot of Blacks in the front line, a few in middle management. Executive and above, we make up less than 1%. Accountants, clerks, masseuse, nurse, doctors, daughters, dentists. Man, they tried to tuck and hide us in plain view. And so we didn't get ahead of what they do. And the earth, she's full, bursting with the souls of our brothers and our sisters, and bursting with the souls of our men and our women. And we are fatigued, and we are tired, and we're exhausted. And this shit just gotta end. It gotta end. So what we gonna do? We gonna flood the streets, disturb your peace, stomp on every level of these burial grounds, march on every level of these burial grounds, shout on every level of these burial grounds until you rewrite the bigotry, until you rewrite the bigotry that has bled us out. Good morning, America. Thanks for finally waking up. We are the people. We the people. Power to the people.
Yeah, these blues ain't going nowhere. Yet moving back in my mind to retouch memories with thoughts of love. Surely there was love, even in the most devastating places. If I was there, there had to be. with wide-eyed wonder. Remember? Before they told me my skin was the wrong color. Moving back, kissing my little girl forehead, retouching the wrinkles, wounds and creases in the lines of my family, the laughter, the food, retouching these memories with love. The way we gathered when Martin Luther King was killed, when my father died, the way we cried together each and every time a loved one left this earthly space. There was love in the rituals, in the tears, in the singing, in our writing. Even now, I can feel the presence of my father guiding my work, applauding my dreams, extending a hand. Love never dies was the greatest lesson he taught me. Remembering the lesson, those Mississippi blues, retouching memories that got me through urban decay, hot summer days, global protests, and milestone birthdays. Will I emerge from this transformative experience, drinking from this plentiful fountain of my Father's love, re-energized, recharged by this profound and phenomenal ability to love? Remember, retouch, kiss, cry, and redress. This love of voice, words, writing, and rebirth. This poetry, just breathe. Just breathing. This lesson that is home. Just breathing. Just breathing. Just knowing I will emerge as my elders have. For I am willing it to be so. Will emerge as love. Those Mississippi blues. Just breathing. Just breathing. Someone has to love us, and it must be us. Remember?
Yay! Oh, sorry. Technical difficulties. Who's in charge of tech? It's not me, is it? Is everyone here? Let's see. Oh, sorry. Okay. Thank you, everyone, so much. Let's get our captions up. All right, everyone, give a big round of applause again for our performers who are all so amazing, so amazing. This was, it was just so beautiful. And I was like trying not to cry. I was doing a really bad job at it though. Thank you to everyone who came to the show. This is In Full Color 2020. Everyone give it up for Jessica Muñoz, for Amanda L. Andrei, for, who was third? Kitty Hawk, Cinthya Hernandez, Dujuana Sharese, and Tantra-zawadi. Everyone give it up. And also special applause for our technical director, Rescue Poetics. Let's see if we can get her face up on here when she is ready. And our assistant TD, Crystal Davis. Without all of these amazing women, none of this could happen. We also had more than six. We had 6 stories with I think 8 more amazing women yesterday. And this has just been so great. So, hey, I don't know what to say. So show your love in the chat. You all can already see there's so much love here. There's Crystal. If you have questions, please throw them into the chat or the Q&A. We're going to do a little talk back, as is in Full Color tradition, to just learn more about each of these amazing artists and creators and what they've brought here. I'm sure all of you can see all of the love going on in the chat, especially for Puppy. The puppy, very cute, star of the show. But also just everyone who's blown away by your work. So while everyone in the audience is thinking of, their deep, profound questions for our lovely cast, I wanted to ask all of you, I guess my first question is just in this process. So for those who don't know, pretty much everyone here has been part of the In Full Color Sisterhood for quite some time. Many of them have been in Full Color before. And we asked some people to create something for us, to do it virtually and go on this adventure with us. And all of these people delivered. They came up with something amazing. And for the past maybe month or so, maybe a little more than a month for us, but probably about a month for everyone in the cast, we've all been working on creating these pieces, rehearsing, practicing, I'm sure repeating yourselves over and over again, filming different things, trying to get the lighting right in all these ways. How has your relationship with your story, the story you told today, changed over the course of the process? And anyone who'd like to answer, you can just unmute yourself. Oh, and I'm gonna change my name on here.
Well, hi, everybody. Great job, everybody. Wonderful, wonderful job. I'm delighted to work with such an amazing group of talented women, and the director, Summer, your mind, I don't know how the hell it works, but it does. It's like 3 million compartments in your mind, and you have it all organized, and from the very beginning. But so I know Summer can attest to this. I changed my piece like 3 times. I'm like, I know you're writing the script, but I have to rewrite it again. And now I have to rewrite it again. Oh no, the video, I have to redo it again. No, up until very, very early this morning, I was changing things because it just wasn't, either I'm a perfectionist or I'm a crazy. I don't know, either or. But it just kept changing and changing. And I know this doesn't sound good. I know that just doesn't blend right. Or no, this can't work with this. And will they understand? So yeah, it was evolving. The script evolved, and then it stopped, and then the other things evolved. The film evolved and evolved and evolved.
I love how your pieces evolved, just like throughout the whole thing. So the video that you all saw behind Dujuana is Dujuana's own creation. She put all of that together and worked really hard. She made several different versions of it. In addition to being a brilliant poet and performer, she also does all of these other things with audio, with visual, and it was really wonderful to be part of that process. And I'm so blown away by what you created today. It was so amazing. Does anyone else want to answer that question?
I guess I'll go. Yeah. First of all, I'm just so blown away by all the talent with these wonderful performers, and thank you so much to Summer for this opportunity and the whole team. I think what's been interesting since I wrote that monologue, so I gave birth at the end of June and then turned in the monologue like a couple months later, and then it's now been like another couple of months, and it's almost like all that the care from my doulas, it almost seems like a dream at this point. It seems like it was a long time ago, but I guess I've also just been reflecting on caring for myself as a mother, and also like caring for myself as an artist, and thinking about, what if we treat our art and our process like with the same love and care that a doula might, and like bringing our art into the world and like being tender with it, and being tender with ourselves. So it's just been really cool to think about that for the past few months.
I think that's really lovely. I didn't really know that much about what a doula did, as far as like what like actual actions they did with people, especially postpartum. So it was really wonderful learning more about that. And they're Mexican, Mesoamerican traditions, right? That's really cool.
Yeah, and I had, so like my doula, she's Mexican, she's based here in LA, and she brought along like her other team member as Korean American. So it was like this tag team of like Mexican Korean food and like Mexican Korean massage. It was amazing. I could go on forever, but I won't.
That sounds so delicious. That sounds so amazing. I have another question from the chat. Our first question from the audience is from an InfoColor alumna herself, Emily Munn. She's also an amazingly talented visual artist who is part of our coloring book, Girls Who Colored Outside the Lines. And she was also in Bloom, our annual fundraiser earlier this year. Her question goes back a little earlier in the process. She asked, what was your journey like to write these monologues and poems? Anyone want to answer? Jessica.
I love the journey of this poem. When I wrote her, I was actually sitting outside and staring at my palm trees in the yard. After the COVID pandemic, I turned the yard into an oasis and planted some beautiful palm trees. And I remember just staring at it and feeling like, I'm not going on vacation this year. I was not happy. But I can create an oasis here in my home, and I can create an amazing scenery in my head. And so that's how I started writing her. And I just started to explore the body of a woman and comparing it to Mi Isla, Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and how I want to be, looked at, and how I want to be explored as a woman. And so I wanted to take people on a journey with that poem. And I hope that it was a journey.
I love that poem. It's always so good. And it's so like, yeah, it takes you to another, it transports you is the word that I'm thinking of. It was so beautiful. Anyone else want to answer Emily's question? Tantra. Oh no, you on mute. There we go.
Well, first of all, I want to say that we couldn't be more connected. Someone mentioned, did we choose our own monologues, or was it like a collaborative process? It really seemed like a collaborative process. We couldn't be more connected. And that was so powerful for me. And with the piece that I wrote, it's part of a larger production that I'm working on, Black Power Baby Blues, that, touches upon my father and how he shared the blues music with me. And what I got from this process is that I need to return to the place of his birth, to Mississippi. I need to touch the soil as the woman that I am now. You know, going back but moving forward, and to see what unfolds for me there. So, you know, working on this piece has been very insightful, and I'm happy and, you know, really available to the process and where it's going to take me. And I just want to say you are all so amazing, and I'm so emotional, and we are truly connected. So much power. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. And thank you, Summer, for putting this together. Thank you, Crystal and Rescue Poetics, for making this so beautiful. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Tantra. Yeah, making this was really, really fun, and definitely a collaborative process. You know, everyone picked their own subject matter and their own story. So for those who don't know about Info Color, if this is your first time ever seeing anything we've done, so we're an organization, we empower women of color through education and the arts. We are based in Jersey City, New Jersey, but we've been working with artists from all over the country since we started producing in 2015. So I am the director and founder of this organization. I do a lot of the many different things. I'm a very busy person, but it's my passion because I really love to amplify women's stories and give them the access to share their stories in their voice. So we do this every year. We have about a dozen people every year who are usually showcased in person in Jersey City through a stage production. And if they're not local, we hire somebody of a similar background to bring their story to life, which is really quite wonderful. But one good thing about doing virtual theater in this COVID era is that we're finally able to see a lot of our writers who are based in California are finally able to perform their own works. And we're so blessed. I'm so blessed that I got to actually rehearse with Cinthya, with Amanda, who are across the country, and not just, you know, have somebody reading their words, reinterpreting their story. So it's really beautiful. And one thing I did definitely notice in the chat is there's a lot of just tons of love from our audience. A lot of people who I know are here for Jessica. I know are here for Jessica. I saw people shouting out everyone who's in the cast. Everybody here has their friends shouting them out, or maybe people who just met them and really love them. So I wanted to ask the cast, like, how important has it been to have sisterhood, to have that support? You know, obviously, like Amanda's piece is all about that support, but just for you as artists doing this show, or just in general?
I'll answer. Sisterhood is seriously important because I don't think that we women sometimes lift each other up as much as we should. And when we do lift each other up, it's magical. I think be happy for everyone. Everyone's not the same. Everyone has their own beauty. And I like to embrace everyone's work, everyone's beauty. And when people support me, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And so I'm just forever grateful for people that are true sisters and supporting us and lifting us up. And you rock, Summer.
You rock, Jessica. Anyone else want to talk about their support system?
I just really appreciate the fact that you provide this opportunity for all of us of color to, you know, be heard. Because how often are we saying something and it's like, I feel like you're not listening to me. So it's always really nice to have that platform and just give it your all, because, you know, obviously I feel like after a while my stories aren't that important because people are not listening, but when I'm given the opportunity to say it, it's like people are listening to me, people are connecting. And, you know, because I connect with everybody's story in here. Like, I am all of you and whatever your piece that you are showcasing. And so it's like, wow, like I'm not the only one who feels that way. It's like, so, and it's really nice to be a part of that in this like cultural element of it, you know, being Mexican American, being African American, you know, just Dominican. It's lovely. It's lovely to just see all of us come together and tell our stories. And like Tantra said, we're interconnected, we're connected, and it's nice.
I absolutely agree. Your piece made us all cry, Cinthya. Mascara companies must have hired you because they're like, people are gonna run through their product real quick when she's around telling this story. You got us. You really wonderful performance. Anyone else want to talk on that? I think I saw Tantra's hand up.
One of the last things I said in the poem was, someone has to love us and it must be us. And it must be us. And when we come together in places like this, in our homes, however we do it, we get that. We understand that. And we know that we need the support of the sisters, the women, the queens to undergird us, to help us through. And that has never failed. That has never failed. Someone has to love us, and it must be us.
Oh, whenever I'm watching your piece and you get to that line, I'm always like, yes, yes, preach, yes, so true. Thank you. That really resonated with me. I wanted to take a moment and like just shout out Kitty Hawk for having the first pole dance we've ever done. I was just watching the whole thing. I was like, yo, this is wild. First of all, that you can do all of that physically, but also the beauty of your story and the honestness. And what I think is really most exciting to me as an artist is seeing how you take the emotions and the story and the journey and you translated that perfectly to movement. That was so great. So tell us a little bit about, you know, just, I don't know, like making this and what role does pole dancing play in your life now?
So I started writing this piece. I got your email, Summer, and I was ruminating on like, what could I do? And I was really interested in combining, I'm also a playwright, the playwriting and the pole, and seeing how that could mesh. And I had seen a performance, a competition piece by somebody named, I think it was Michelle Shimmy, but she had this piece where she was pole dancing to comments online, you know, all the things that people had been saying about her on the comment section of her videos. They were not nice, just to clarify. It was all the mean comments. And I thought it was so powerful. And I was like, I think I could do something like that. I think I could write something and dance to it. And I frequently choreograph for my classes. I mean, I haven't in a while because I'm not teaching at the moment, but yeah. And I have these regular, like, kind of like check-ins where, you know, speaking of sisterhood, my very good friend is a pole dancer and studio owner, and she had asked me, oh, how did you start pole dancing? Oh, that's weird. We've never talked about that, you know? And that was sort of the spark for this monologue that I wrote. But yeah, you asked me about my relationship to pole dancing. Is that right?
Yeah, like what, you know, do you regularly do this? So you just mentioned that you teach classes, but I guess because the piece is all about like why you started, but now I'm like, do you compete? Do you do this all the time? Do you do this for a living? Do you teach people? You know, like I feel like those are all the questions I would be thinking.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me right now. I feel like the pandemic, honestly, has really sort of shifted things for me personally. I didn't have a pole for like 6 months, and then I had to reteach myself a lot of stuff once I moved to this place and got a pole. And it's been interesting because my floor is slanted, and so there are certain things that I can't do just for like my own safety. I can't swing too hard on it; it'll move it, and it's not great. So like that one part too, where I turn and I run and I leap on it. Normally that would be like totally safe to like just kind of like, you know, safely throw yourself on there. But based on the fact that because that my pole is slanted and my floor is slanted, every time it's a little bit of a thrilling moment for me as to whether the pole is going to move or not. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of in flux, my relationship with the pole right now. That's also like kind of why I've been taking a pause from teaching. But yeah, I don't know if I can articulate how it's in flux.
It's evolving, which I think it's a theme that we keep coming back to. Things are evolving. I didn't know you were risking life and limb to throw yourself at the pole. Oh my God. I was just like
summer.
I see Murphy asked in the chat, when can we see a compilation of these great works? So a recording of this will be online, and Thursday will be as well. So if you have tickets to both shows, you will be able to get all the recordings. It is possible eventually that they will be available online, but probably not for a long time for the general public. I don't know. Because y'all paid to be here. You get to enjoy it. It's your privilege. You support us. T. Gaspar says, has performing virtually enhanced you ladies as performers? If so, how? I think that's a great question. Yes, the challenge of virtual. Does anyone want to answer that?
I'll go with that. Yeah. Like Kitty, I'm also a playwright. And I will say that this is the first time that I've performed a monologue that I wrote. It's the first time that I've acted my own text, which was just an incredible, beautiful experience that really challenged me as a playwright, challenged me as a performer. And I don't think I would have done it if it weren't virtual. And I think that's, you know, probably just because of like the distance of everything. And so it just, yeah, I don't know, it just really engaged me with my work more and like deepened the way I look at my work. And I keep thinking about it too. Like, I feel like I'm this like single bead, and then like together we're all like strung across in like a necklace or something, or I'm like, you know, I'm like this part of the altar and like everyone else is arranged on it. And like when you take it all in, it's just, you know, stunning. So it's, yeah, I feel like, I don't know if I want to perform more of my own stuff, unless Summer's producing it. But you know, it's just been like a really incredible experience. Yeah.
I hope you continue performing your own stuff because you were really, really wonderful. So anyone else?
Okay.
Wait, what happened? I didn't hear that. I don't know.
So Summer, we have a couple of questions in the Q&A.
Yes, thank you.
And let's see. I don't know if this one's been answered already, but Melissa asked Jessica what inspired her to write her.
Okay. I think Jessica answered that, but you can talk a little bit more about that. So you were outside.
Yeah, I have a close friend who's going through a separation, and we talk a lot on the phone. And so sitting outside, I wanted to actually write something, and the first person that heard it was her. And I wanted her to understand that no matter what, even through a breakup, your body is freaking amazing. Love is amazing. Sex is amazing, and you will find it again, and he will climb your limbs like the limbs of a coconut tree, and he will suck on them like quenepas. I wanted to make her smile. That's the true story behind my poem, peoples. So her, and her. She knows who she is.
I love that. I love that. So we have more questions in the Q&A. I'm trying to find, okay, here we go. Aha, Yoma Tuesday. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry, Yoma. Did you always know you were an artist, or did you have an aha moment? At what point in your life did this happen? You want to take that on?
I'll answer that question. I feel like being a Korean person, you know, there are some really, how do you say? There's a path that your parents want you to take, you know, and it is very rarely that they want it to be as an artist. So, you know, to this day, they still ask me when I'm going to be going back to being an elementary school teacher. But yeah, so for a while, it was really hard for me to accept the fact that I was an artist. And, you know, like as a child, I was always like really creative, but I never really was able to like say like, this is what I want to do with my life. You know, it felt so unacceptable. And I also went to a workshop. I'm sorry, I feel like my answers are so long and rambly. I don't know, that's me. But I went to this workshop that was led by this Japanese American woman who's really fantastic, Tracy Kato Kiriyama. But she was like, she's like, everyone say you're an artist. And we were like, we're artists. And she was like, there you go. Now you're an artist. And I was like, is it that easy? And so I feel like I had to, I don't know, it was a long time for me to like accept it. I think maybe I always subconsciously knew, but it took a lot of work for me to accept it. And that self-acceptance was really powerful for me into like coming into my own.
I can somewhat relate. I feel like I'm also Asian, and I just feel like my parents aren't Asian enough that I didn't really feel that. It wasn't my parents, but it was other people, you know, always having the expectation. And I was very into science, so I was misleading people. Anyone else want to answer that question?
I totally agree with Kitty. I find it really hard to identify myself as an artist. But when I was little, I always thought I was an artist. You know, I'm an artist. I did a lot of artsy things, and I was in theater, and I did all these things. But as I got older, and I started experiencing more of what this art business is, I felt less and less artistic, if that makes any sense, because I always felt like my stuff wasn't good enough. And it's like, so am I really an artist? Right? It's like, so I still struggle with it. I know I've been told before, it's like, have your plays been gone, like, have they been in festivals? Like, yeah. It's like, well, there you go. It's like, that doesn't mean anything. So it's really hard just for me, myself, to acknowledge my accomplishments. It's hard for me to say, that's right, I am an artist. That's right, I got paid for that. it's like, yeah, I got paid for it. And I always feel like this shame, but you know, it's just me. I'm like the worst at myself. And I just need to love myself and embrace myself, that my art is amazing. You know, my art is worth hearing. My art affects other people in whichever way. And so, yeah, I am an artist, but sometimes I'm not. So it's just that I'm an artist today, tomorrow, I don't know, kind of thing.
I think you are definitely an artist, and you are an amazing artist. And you are definitely you know what I hate when they're like a professional actor, and it's like, what does a professional actor make? Just getting paid for it? Like, I don't know. People have their standards, but I think you're an artist if you create and love art. That's what it is. Amazing. So I have two questions that are kind of similar. Talina Lachelle Queen asks, what is next for your artistry? And Eileen Ramos asks, what projects are you going to work on next? So I think those are kind of very similar, right? Yeah, anyone would like to share? You can put that plug in now. The plug in now.
Projects that I'm working on next. You know, 2020 has been an interesting year, and to be an artist and have everything shut down, that's kind of like, you know, I just started getting my feet wet doing open mic right before COVID hit, and then boom. And then I was like, am I gonna lose my momentum? And my last show, I think, was at the college, and one that I did with Dujuana when I met Dujuana. And I was like, oh my God, I just started flowing. What am I gonna do next? And like I told you guys before, I did the oasis in my yard, and I was like, think and think fast, because you can't stop. You can't let this mess you up. And I train as a boxer, so I was like, pivot, let's go. Change the position, but don't lose the vision. And so I went in the back and I started doing what's called patio sessions. And I want to say it in Spanish, patio sessions. And everything that I wrote, I would just perform it by this daggone palm tree that I'm in love with. And I would stand there and I would just perform it. And now I'm up to patio sessions part 5. And that's what I've been doing, just to stay connected, stay in the momentum, and not lose my pose, not lose what I got. So 2020 is not gonna detour us, right, guys? Thank you, Summer, for doing this outlet for us.
So, did you say plug my stuff? Oh, sure. Hey, everybody, and Summer. I just want to say this. I am sitting here with the sadness because my family all tried to get on and they couldn't.
Oh.
There were like 4 of them.
What happened?
They said they couldn't get on. They couldn't get on the link or something. And you know that was my family in the back of me. That was my mother, my sister, my uncles, my aunties, and they all were coming. And one person got the tickets for everybody, and because they're all in different households. So I am sad. Sadness kicks in 4th place because I feel there's no hope. No, that was my yesterday's line. Anyway,
Dujuana, let me know the name of the person who bought the tickets afterward, just so I can see like why that happened. Because but if one person got everyone's tickets, that might have been what it was.
Okay. I'm very sad that my mama couldn't see her face on the big screen, or rather her computer screen. I'm like, look, mama, I made it. Well, maybe not, because you couldn't see it. Nah.
No.
Anyway, but this is recording, so maybe she'll see it. I love you, Mom, and my whole family, my nephews, everybody, my brother-in-law, my sister, everybody. Hi. Okay, and hi, everybody else that came to support me, and all of these beautiful women. Hello, Ashe. I'm not discounting you, but it's nothing like your mama seeing you, right? It's nothing like your mama, right? And I cursed and everything. I said shit and everything. And I thought my mama was going to be able to see it. Like, I could curse now because it's art, mama, because it's art. I could curse in my art, mama, and you ain't going to hit me. Anyway, so shameless plugs for me. Everything is a Story is my podcast, which happens every single month. It is about breakups to break through. It is about artists and extraordinary people who go through their rites of passage, which is their transition in life, whatever transition it may be, their transition, and we hear their journey from breakup to breakthrough, because we have to go through some things to better ourselves, and our stories teach other people how to handle situations in case they're ever in it. That's Everything is a Story, streaming on all of the things, you know, all the stuff. I'm not trying to give them a, but stream it, Google it, boom. Then next week, I'm going to be in the Seattle Film Festival because I host a show that's called the Black Lesbian Love Lab Dating Game. And oh, it's open to everybody, okay? It's the Black Lesbian Love Lab where you can find love in COVID. And myself, along with Zamara Perry and Ananda, we put together, and Sarah too, but Sarah took a hiatus for a minute. I know she's watching, that's why I'm about to dig in her. So anyway, the film festival, it'll take place on the 17th of October. It's next Saturday. I believe it's at 5 o'clock. I'm going to be sharing it from my page. So everybody friend me for Facebook. I'm Dujuana Sharese, okay? Instagram is everything.is.a.story, okay? Or Dujuana Sharese. The spelling is right there. Or you can just hit me up and say hi to me. That's what I'm in an audio festival too. So yeah, I got like things are happening for me during COVID, and I'm so glad that I wasn't sitting here twiddling my thumbs. And it's not over because the video's here. Now I have to record my words, and there's music that goes with it. So stay tuned for the video that you guys seen with music and my words in a different kind of style. Thank you. Did you say plug? Hello.
Wait, while you're there, while you're talking about the piece, Selena has a question for you in the Q&A. What prompted you to put the scratch sound in your words? The
rhythm beat builder, because I am hip hop. And if I could scratch everything, I am hip hop. That is as hip hop as it could get. And it's the saying of a name, and you gain people's attention. If they wasn't listening before, they'd be like, she either F that up or damn, she about to mix that. She about to remix. So I do a lot of that in pieces that I feel really strong about. I do it, and then I'll repeat. There's like a signature thing that I do in most of my pieces that I feel. So who asked that question?
Talina Lachelle Queen.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Talina! What? Hello, Talina. Next year for the Poetry Festival in Patterson.
She runs the Patterson Poetry Festival, folks. Talina, you can plug yourself in the chat.
Hope you liked it.
Yeah, we actually performed there last week. Me and Crystal and Rescue, we are just, I don't know what's wrong with us, but we love to just do too much. So we did tech for this show, and then we did that festival like right after, but we had a wonderful time. We ran a workshop there. We did a poetry as activism workshop, and we got maybe like a dozen, maybe more than a dozen people to write poems about things that they were passionate about and share them, which was really cool. And so this is my plug now. In Full Color does do performances and workshops at different, we go to schools, we do corporate stuff, we will work with your team, your nonprofit, we work with governmental agencies, just any group who wants to do something dope. So you can always reach out to us at infullcolor.org. And you will have some of our artists come and perform for you or give you some knowledge. Yeah, it's funny because people are asking what your next projects are, and I think people think that like, yeah, I'm working on this show and it's like the big thing, but totally at the same time, I'm working on 11 of these performance and workshop things with other clients. I am putting together, this is the first sneak peek at the cover. It's not gonna be this shape, this is just the print. But we're taking our zine, How to Destroy the Patriarchy in 7 Days, and we are making a wellness journal out of it, and it's going to come out for the holidays. But it's super cute. Look at this like art. We added some art, and if you've seen this zine before, it's all about basically building yourself up so you can break down societal barriers There's like
Yes.
a little bingo, so you can do fun things with your sisters. So that's gonna be really, really cool. That's my next project. I was laying this out after tech. Like I was like, okay, time to lay out pages. Anyway, let me see if I have any more questions in the chat. Because I know I definitely have a question that I want everyone to answer that I always use to wrap up our, it looks like we're good on the Q&A. We used to wrap up our talkbacks. A bunch of you have already seen the question because you saw last night's show and Dujuana was in it. So Dujuana knows what I'm gonna answer. But if you could have any wish for women or other folks of marginalized genders, in general, just the people who need this wish, what would it be? So I will start and then we'll just go in the order that we went. Yeah, makes sense. So my wish is the same as it was yesterday, and it's because everyone, when we do this, everyone always wishes for something very deeply profound, and I just want to wish for something that I think people perceive to be very superficial, but are incredibly important for women. Money and orgasms. We need both. We need both. We need plenty of them, lots and lots of both. Those are my number one wishes. Orgasms is new. I always wish for money. I always wish for money for all women.
I'm glad my mama didn't hear that.
Sorry, mama.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's a good wish. It's a good wish. I didn't say, I mean consensual, loving, amazing orgasms.
Awesome.
Happy orgasms.
It's all right. She's not on here anyway.
Doesn't have to be sinful orgasms, but it can be. And Iveth, Jessica's like, ooh. Jessica, you're up. What is your wish?
I love orgasms. Anyway.
You should write a poem about it.
Orgasm. I would wish for peace on earth. I wish for a woman president. I just wish for health. And I want this Rona bitch to go away. Rona bitch better go away. Because I'm tired of Rona. You got to go, ho. That's it. And peace on earth.
Yeah, Dujuana's right. You're going to come in with your boxing hands and just beat up Rona.
I'm about to box that bitch. All right, sorry.
Amanda, you are next.
I don't even know how I can follow this, but I was just thinking that one of the amazing things about Zoom theater is that my kids want to see everything that I'm in, and they are learning so much. It's okay. I think they're running around in another room right now. But I think if my first thought about, what I would wish for folks would be to find connection with your ancestors, to find connection with your descendants, and, healing for our lineages. And then just kind of on that immediate front, with money and with orgasms and all that stuff, I was thinking that I would like everyone to have the tastiest, best, richest, most delicious meal sometime this year. Have a feast.
Yes, I could use that right now. I am hungry. Kitty, what is your wish?
I would wish for power, maybe power enough to create some radical change. And hand in hand with that is the love and support and the power of family, whether it's created or biological, because you can't do it alone, right?
That's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Cinthya.
I would wish for nurture and respect. I feel that we forget to nurture ourselves as women often. and to just allow yourself to love you.
Self-love, very, very important. Dujuana Sharese, what is your wish?
I wish that all women can be free to make mistakes and to live without judgment. I wish that all women would make more money than men. That precedent change because we have superpowers. I wish that people respect the Black woman in all forms and facets. I wish for all women to be free to express themselves how they want without being put in a box, without, oh, she's sad, or she's depressed, or she's too loud, or she's too this. No, I'm just the way I am, and we all are just the way we need to be until we grow. And I wish those standards would erase that we have to walk through and walk in.
So true. Thank you, Dujuana. So true. Freedom. Tantra, bring us home.
Wow. I would wish for Black women to be recognized for the powerful beings that they are. My wish would be for women to understand and stand in their power. My wish would be for women to lean into one another for support. That would be amazing. And to continue to stay inspired and to love. We got this. We've got this. We've got this.
Thank you so much. These are such beautiful, beautiful wishes. I hope they all come true. I just really want to thank everyone again for sharing your stories, for being so vulnerable with us, for taking this time and sharing your thoughts and advocating for so many others whose stories we don't hear and we haven't heard yet, but that we want to hear. I'm so thankful to each of you for your artistry and just blown away by all of your excellence. Thank you to everyone who came out and supported us. It really means the world to each of us individually as artists, but also to women of color, people who are marginalized everywhere, that there are people listening to their voices. And if you're listening to this on a recording later, we're sorry you couldn't be with us, but we're so happy that you are hearing our words.
So just before we go, can all the performers unmute yourselves, and everyone who is an attendee, let's show Summer some love, because this has been an incredible production. So give it up for Summer Dawn Reyes.
Summer Dawn. Yeah, Summer Dawn.
Rock.
Thank you, Summer.
Thank you.
And give it up for Rescue and Crystal, without whom
Rescue and Crystal.
They are so amazing. I'm really working with the best.
You guys were
people.
amazing.
Yes, and shout out to our the amazing rest of the women on our board, Vinida, MJ, Lish, for everything, and all of our supporters. We love you all. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Do something fun, do something powerful, do something inspired. Oh, so cute. Yes, show your love in the chat. Amazing. So cute. Well, good night, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for coming to Info Color 2020.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Thanks for coming.